Podcasting. Anyone ever thought about having a podcast? Where do I start? Where do I begin? Here's a tip for you, something that I use, Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. It is absolutely free, and they provide all the creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your computer, phone, tablet, whatever device you have. It is super convenient, and Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you. Your podcast can be on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Grow your listeners and get as many people as possible to listen to your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Let's do it.
Shows are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Welcome to the Edventures in Tech podcast. Talking the latest tips and trends in educational technology to innovate and engage your students. Here are your hosts, Andrew and Dan.
Welcome to episode 27 of the Adventures in Tech podcast. I am Andrew.
And I am Dan.
And once again, we're excited you're on this venture with us. If you like the content, like us, help us out by providing feedback and a rating. Wherever you download your podcast from, we're definitely gaining some traction in that area. We greatly appreciate your support. So, Dan, before we get into exciting news, and there's a lot going on, I'm not going to do a would you rather. I'm going to do a this or that. I'm going to make it really tough on you.
You're just making me come in cold with this, aren't you?
Yep. Are you ready?
I'm just thinking of Black Sheep right now.
Okay.
You can get with this.
Or
you
that.
You can get with that.
Don't give me things to, like, now I got to produce that, like in the background, just like last week with Eminem. Anyways, you ready? Netflix or YouTube? Yes. That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
When we talk, and this is going into my mind about streaming and everything like that. Netflix or YouTube?
I would have to say Netflix.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean,
I know you have the YouTube TV, right?
I do have YouTube. Well, are you talking about that or just YouTube? I mean,
I guess I really was encompassing everything YouTube related.
Okay. Well, I think then I'd have to go with YouTube. I love my YouTube TV. Best thing ever was cutting the cable cord.
Yep, cut the cord.
Thank you for pushing me over that edge.
I did. That was it was in like August. You were texting me like, "How do I do this? I got to do it."
This was a couple of years ago.
It was like 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was pre-pandemic, and I was like, "Oh, Dan, just got to do it. It's the greatest thing ever." I don't have that triple play headache through Spectrum, Optimum, Time Warner, or whatever they are now. Cablevision. I can't even keep track.
But even YouTube, itself. I mean, I'm on YouTube all the time when I'm trying to figure out how to do something or how to make something or just, no better way than to actually watch someone doing it.
Exactly. So, yeah, I would have to agree. And, on the premise of Netflix now announcing recently that they are going to crack down on password sharing, which has obviously cut into their bottom line come January, I think that YouTube is just going to continue to grow. And if you need support in cutting the cord,
are you going to put
Andrew can help you out.
You're going to put out a hotline?
I'll put out a YouTube video. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Before we get to classroom updates, a couple things coming up. NYSCATE convening November 19th through the 22nd. We will be broadcasting live, have multiple guests. We're going to start working on that as far as who we will be interviewing up there. Definitely people all from different companies, as well as educational technology people in that field throughout the entire conference, people that you may follow on Twitter. We are still kind of working on all of that. And it is free to join, so please make sure you join NYSCATE. A lot of good things. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, speaking of conferences, there's another one that's coming up in December.
Yeah, we talk about it. Go ahead.
So that would be the Ditch Summit. So
yes.
All of our... with Matt Miller, Ditch That Textbook, the Digital Summit. It's a free online summit that will run from December 12th to January 6th, and you'll get over 80 presentations, video presentations that you'll have access to.
It is definitely awesome to check out and see some of these, and it's definitely done. Matt does it so that it's he calls it PD the best way: couch, PJs, and on your time. Right? That hits the 3 check boxes. And it's over the break. So you do have time. We know how crazy the holiday season is for everybody as they celebrate, their different holiday traditions. But it goes through January 6th. You'll have the access to them All of them are free. And Dan, I'm gonna make your mind blown.
Oh, I was going to make your mind blown.
We know one of the speakers is our good old friend Amanda Sandoval.
Yes, I'm very excited for that.
So the speaker list has been announced. Definitely check out ditchsummit.com. Holly Clark's another big one from there as well. All of them are, honestly, but they are, it's definitely something to check out. Ditch Summit, there's always, even if you get one thing to take away from it, it's so worth it. So Ditch Summit is the way to go. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about is, and this came out of Ditch Summit, if I recall.
It did. So that was such a great session.
It was. So Nate Ridgway, right, he has the author of a book. Matt Miller helped him with it. It is called Breaking the Blockbuster Model. And this is going to be kind of, I don't want to say our theme for the year, but it's kind of...
You can say it.
I can say it?
You can say it.
I know last week I said something I wasn't supposed to, so I got Dan's permission. I'm all right now. So breaking the blockbuster model, using ed tech and accessibility to see what's next in classrooms. We always have to have the foresight or the forward thinking to see what's going on, because we have to keep up with our students. And whether it's YouTube, Netflix, streaming, and we're going to get into all this at a later time, and we'll definitely do an episode on this model, okay? 21st century skills, the way the kids are thinking and the activities that they are going to be expected as they move into the workforce is huge. So we have to kind of have a baseline of where to go from as what is good pedagogy in this kind of model and breaking that blockbuster model. Dan and I were just talking, in a pre-show meeting that, he says I lead him blind, but don't be fooled, folks, right? Pre-show meeting, like we were talking about Blockbuster and Video Source, if you lived in, in the Hudson Valley area, and some of those other ones that
Video Treats.
Like we were like, oh, let's find images of that, and just to bring it back. But we did, just to recap, there is still one Blockbuster left in Bend, Oregon, right? Mm-hmm. So there is one, and they're a family-run franchise thing. They do, I think it's called, I forgot what the webpage is, but we'll put it in the Bend Blockbuster or blockbusterbend.com. Check it out. But that is going to be our theme. I got Dan Roberto's approval, so we're all set with that.
All right.
All right, so first thing, the weekly wind-up. I want to talk about, I saw this. Did you see this student work scanner? Dan, have you had a chance to look at it?
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, so...
a smart student work scanner.
Yeah, so Monica Burns is another big ed tech person, and she kind of shared this out. A smart student work scanner for teachers. So basically, it goes through an app, and it's called Graded Plus, and it basically you're going to see, I'm not going to go into deep, with the article, but how it can impact your workflow and formative assessment routines, throughout the school year, right? So it's scanning the work. So if you do not have the access to the digital environment all the time, this is what we kind of want to look at, right? You scan the work, you can give them the quick points, you can name the assessment, and it's all data organized. And that's the big thing. It's on Apple, it's on Google Play, it's an app. So if you need to scan it, and then it's already it's connected. The student data lives in Google's cloud, and it's connected to your existing Google Classroom. So it basically, just to summarize, then you guys can dive deep into this if you want. It lets you instantly scan, analyze, and save handwritten student work directly to your Google Drive, which can be important, especially if your activity cannot be just all digitized. We don't want something on the substitution level. If it's going to take something where it's not going to hit the modification and redefinition level, a little bit of augmentation, but it's going to just be something, you need to do this activity. Don't make it digital just to make it digital. Right? That's our premise. We're not just going to substitute something. That's reinventing the wheel, but it's not really reinventing it. It's just substituting it. Do the handwritten thing. That's important skill, right? And then it'll scan, analyze, and save that work into the drive. You have unlimited pretty much as an educator. And then it's all graded, and you can keep track of responses with the app. There's problem solving in math classrooms and short response writing in ELA. So it's a great alternative to using those lots of multiple choice questions to check for understanding, and it'll give you that quick formative assessment. Can I move on? Do I need to spend more time? Who needs more strategies in those small groups? It's a great tool for your formative assessment data.
So as I'm looking at how it works, you can set up your assessments in the app, and you can even connect it to standards, set the point value for it, and then as you go through and scan for each class, it's going to scan the image of the written work, and then if you've hand grade it, you put the point value on it, it's going to be able to pull that point value out and then attach it to the students, and that's where you get all that formative assessment data from.
Yeah, so definitely something to check out. Dr. Monica Burns, again, we will share her blog and everything. Follow her on Twitter, and you will get a lot of these tools. She's got a lot of free stuff, and I believe she's a former Ditch Summit speaker as well. So definitely something to check out. The Student Work Scanner, it's called. It's provided by Graded Plus. Well, Graded Plus, and it's sponsored by Solved. So check it out. Now, the next thing, I'm excited. So Dan is, this is not even a classroom update, but Dan has been working very hard at something that has to do with broadcasting news, right? And that's great because we've done a lot of those different things with green screen and do ink and everything. And Dan found something that, again, it's like we're dusting it off. It's almost
I know it's been out for a while.
Yeah.
Things change, and I've been resistant to even go down the road of this thing because I remember it making me nauseous in the past.
Yeah, so
every time I hear that word, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, the thing is, like, these ed tech companies, and honestly, I don't think we looked at it since pre-pandemic, if I remember correctly, Dan, this next application, and they upped their game, just like Google and Microsoft and everybody has as well from coming out of the pandemic. And it's now Dan's favorite tool, and it does have use. Before we get into where this is all relatable and connecting the dots, we're not just like, off on a tangent here. Sometimes we're, off the rails. But Prezi. Talk to us, Dan.
Prezi. So Prezi, as Andrew mentioned, really upped its game. And I am going to be honest, it's been up for a while. It's just has not been on.
Didn't cross the radar.
It hasn't been on my radar, but they have all. It's no longer just that. I create that presentation like a slide deck, and then I can zoom in and out and in and out.
Yeah, what was that called? Remember we used to be on the Max? Oh, the Ken Burns effect.
Yeah,
remember that?
And it would just go. But there's it seems like Prezi kind of incorporated a lot with Canva. Not with Canva, but right. Canva style of being able to have these templates where you can create different things as infographics, book reports, lesson plans, and then also how to present a project, creating social media posts. And it does allow for those Prezi effects that we're right. all used to in these templates. But they've also put in a Prezi design, and what I got really excited about was Prezi Video.
Yeah.
They have their own video player and their own video creation tools that are really slick.
Yeah.
And I think about how sometimes when we're designing asynchronous lessons or we're even going synchronous in a webinar as a PD purpose, or if we're teaching online, sometimes the interactions through a Google Meet or a Zoom call are not that great, and
it's not personal, right?
And it's not personal, it's not engaging. So with the Prezi Video Player, it allows you to, as you're in your video conference, being able to fully present a slide deck with your video right in the slide deck.
So it's like a green screen without a green screen. You're not getting the actual image of a green screen.
Right.
That's the only difference.
And there's a lot of different toggling tools where you can put your presentation full screen, you can put picture in picture, you can get rid of your video, or you can do what's called a transparent effect where it removes the background from any of your slides and leaves all the text and pictures up, and your video is behind it. So if you carefully use their templates, you can do some really engaging asynchronous video lessons with the Prezi Video.
Yeah, and for, it's not going to replace green screen depending upon what you're using a green screen effect for. However, it's going to make things more efficient because if you use that transparency or whatnot, you have the image behind you without having to do all the editing and bringing the image in and, using the chroma key, for the green screen. So it's going to simplify it.
And with the Prezi Video and the Prezi Design and the new Prezi Present, It links to a lot of the different platforms. So you can upload PowerPoints right into it. You can upload your Google slide decks right into it and let the magic go.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it's very seamless with not only Google Meet, but Zoom.
And Teams.
Right. So all three of the main players, let's say,
And WebEx.
So there you go. All four of them in the web conferencing world. It will work. And I'm sure as it continues to evolve and update, we will make sure we're on top of that and share the information. Now, the funny part about all this, okay, and I was going to drop this on him, but I
should have. You really should have.
As Dan...
You can get with this or you can get with that.
Yeah. Dan, that's old news. No, but so basically Google Workspace is updating information, and basically they're heavily investing in immersive connections, trying to make communication more seamless, smart canvas, and collaboration kind of experiences, with that. So the big thing that they are doing is with Google Meet, they keep bridging that gap because in the workspace, even us, as we meet with the different educators across the state, country, world, county, and buildings, you're having those immersive connections for these in-person meetings when they're virtual, right? Because it just makes things easy. So they're coming out with like automatic lighting adjustment. We know noise reduction, right? All those things. Now, what do they come up with?
Speaker spotlight
in slides. I literally dropped that. I told our boss, right? And then I said, hey, you know what Dan's been doing? Look at this. And he was like, oh, man. I'm like, yeah, it's like Dan has a bat phone. Google heard him. Google heard him that he wanted something easy, right, to be able to do this. So the good thing is Dan's all his hard work is going to go forward in Prezi because it is not out yet. But basically,
it looks like it's not.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not. Everything's got its own tweak until they buy Prezi. That's just to be honest. But Speaker Spotlight and Slides will collapse that boundary between the story and storyteller in a hybrid world by placing the speaker's video, whether it be Dan or whatever, directly within their content. So in your slide deck, it's automatically going to make it nice and neat, and we're going to see how that comes out. It's not available just yet. It says later this year.
So I mean, I look at this in terms of the day-to-day applications in the classroom, and as you're really building your blended environment, using that Prezi video doesn't have to just be in video conferences. No. You can use it to create the videos. So when you're providing those instructional materials for your students, I think you can really make it more meaningful by utilizing some of these digital tools in order to better get your message across and the learning across the students. It's always easy to go in and make a Screencast-o video, but then immersing yourself in the content is just another step that allows for more engagement.
And I think that's important with just, as you just brought up Screencast-o. So licensing for Screencast-o has completely changed as of September 1st, I believe, in that you used to get, 30?
30
free videos, but only 5 minutes was your max.
It kind of reversed it. Now you get 30 minutes of video, but 10 videos max that you can save in their Screencast-o dashboard.
Correct. So then you have to delete them or download them and upload them. So they're changing what they're doing. So
you have to be aware of that change because a lot of these Screencast-o videos that you make, they live on because you've embedded links to them in different areas, whether it's on your webpage, in your slide decks, in a Wakelet, and then all of a sudden you run out of your allotted videos. It's not that easy to go ahead and delete all the work that you have done.
Yeah, and as somebody like Dan said, clicks on that link and then it's like broken.
Right.
And then it just doesn't exist anymore. You get that snap bad error message. So but just be note of that. And listen, if you have access to Teams and Google Meet and Zoom and you can definitely record your voice. It's not exactly the same. It's going to take a little bit longer, but a lot of those are included in your regular licensing fees that your school district is probably purchased, for you guys. So the other thing is Google Workspace. This, I know, Sheets. I'm a geek. I understand that, but it excited me. Yes, Google Sheets excited me because there's now a timeline view, right? And we used to have to go around a funky way for this, but there's a timeline view on Google Sheets, and basically it's continuing that power of Smart Canvas, and it now introduces an interactive timeline view that's going to allow you to track projects in Google Sheets. It's just a visual layer, and it displays project information stored in sheets such as test start and end date, description, and the owner of who's supposed to be doing that. Now, is it out just yet? Not yet. But to create it, just navigate to Insert Timeline, select a data range, and then configure the attributes in the timeline settings sidebar. And then you'll be able to be off to the races. Rapid release, gradual rollout, up to 15 days. It started November 2nd. Schedule release will start November 16th. It is available for almost all workspace essentials, business standard, etc. It's not available to legacy, suite, basic, and business and personal Google accounts. It will not be part of. But for me, I know that, for Dan and myself and others, in our area, we need to come up with a timeline and roadmap of implementation of the computer science and digital fluency learning standards for our district specifically. So this is where my mind was going when I saw that.
It's good thinking. Google is really putting a lot into their idea of smart chips into docs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know we talked about smart chips a lot. So,
and just to recap, in their docs, you'll notice on your insert button there is selection for smart chips, and it really allows you to integrate more into that collaborative workplace, like putting contacts for people directly into your document, putting your files directly in calendar events, maps, and locations. So they're doing a lot with smart chips.
And I think it's just going to keep going. So it just, they're going to continue to improve upon it as well. So definitely something to check out. We do have that on previous episodes as well. So, Dan, I'm going to flip.
You're going to flip.
Yes. So
Flip.com.
That's it. So
don't call it Flipgrid.
I know you're going to the logo's changed. It's no longer Flipgrid. And, this all came out of FlipFest.
Introducing Flip.
So if you were like, I haven't done much with Flipgrid recently and that green plus is missing, well, that's because it's gone. It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. So Flipgrid is now officially just called Flip. And it's just the same name. I mean, it's a new name. It's the same thing. They're just going to have a new look and everything. It's the same features. They've added some camera design upgrades, right? With that the group, they changed the group links, templates. The home feed's going to look a little different, but overall, it's the exact same thing, except they did add the new Flip camera is live.
Yes.
So with different effects,
filters.
So video backdrop. So another way just to create. And again, you can kind of use your screencasting in this as well.
You can. And they've also, with the new renaming and reinventing for Flip, they did make it simpler on the web for working with Flip. Almost said Flipgrid. But you'll no longer need to switch between your lead and member views. It has a cleaner layout. You can manage your Flip groups and topics and activities all in one place. There's a global search, so if there's a if you had a topic somewhere and you don't remember where you posted it, it'll search those topics across all of your groups and topics, and you can filter based on content. It has different group links where it'll double as a join code. There's editing captions. There's templates. There's all these new changes to simplify the web experience.
So if you haven't checked out Flip lately, because I know just getting back into the swing of things, it's definitely something to check out. And they are also now doing a lot more with translations, which helps out. And they're going to continue that. So that's exciting for Flip as you move forward. So definitely check out Flip.
And I do see that coming soon, Flip will be available in Spanish on the mobile app.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. So let's talk, Dan, I was going to talk about Screencast-o-matic. And, I know we're talking a lot about casting tools, but they are pretty much catching up, I want to say, with the video lesson, online course, interactive quizzing and polls is pretty much what it comes down to. So, again, there's a slew of tools out there. You have to find what works best for you.
Right.
So whether it be Screencast-ify or whatever it works, there's a lot of different ones. Flip, right? And then you can just Edpuzzle. Screencast-o-matic is kind of this very similar thing. You're now just going to be able to use interactive quizzes
Screencast-o-matic was the first screencast software I've ever used.
Dusting it off.
And that was, and it's always been fine. It's always been great. I just got more tied into Screencast-ify over the years, but Screencast-o-matic is...
If that's what you like, use it.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. It depends on a comfort level for everyone. So same kind of thing when we talk about video with Loom, right? Loom is another thing that people are like, what is Loom? Loom. But they have now automated transcripts for every video, which can be very beneficial for our ELL learners. And there's a lot of different things that Loom is doing. You can stitch together multiple looms, combine them to create different virtual presentations. You can update those old videos with the latest information and have custom intros and everything like that. So if you're interested in another kind of video recording application on the web, Loom, Loom, is something you could definitely check out. And the nice thing is these ed tech companies keep updating stuff.
I do want to check out the automated transcripts. That sounds
correct. Yeah,
even on a free plan.
Yeah, that's huge because we know a lot of people could have challenges with that. We've had a lot of people wondering about the Google Translate and how do I translate things lately, so that could definitely help.
Right, and I think as more people are working in that digital space, that's why we're helping them with a lot of these areas more and more. And, kind of tying back to everything that we've been talking about in this episode, where we had a lot of video and streaming and all these tools to make a more seamless experience. It is flashy, but it's more than that. If you think about trying to reach all of your learners, being able to use tools that have these certain features available, like translations or closed captioning, or being able like using the Prezi video player or the new soon to come out Google thing, immersing that video into your actual presentations, you're really looking at furthering your efforts at really looking at UDL, the Universal Design for Learning, and providing multiple means for different things for your students. So, being comfortable using some of these tools and knowing what they are capable of, and a lot of these tools, they have it built right in. I mean, I know Flip has an immersive reader built right in. We have these transcripts already coming in, the translation features. So, it's always like, well, I could stand there in front of the class and I can do it. And that's effective for some, but it may not be effective for all. Right. So rethinking of how I'm balancing my blended environment between my physical space in my classroom and my digital space, and what I can provide more in my digital space will make you maybe a little curious to go down the rabbit hole with some of these tools.
And that's the thing. The tools, just because we're sharing this information, and it doesn't mean you have to use them all.
No.
We're just trying to give the broad audience an overview of what's available. You have to, just because it's the new shiny thing doesn't mean to use it. Use what works. Use what you're comfortable with. Step out of your comfort zone a little bit. And as you continue to grow that digital learning space and set it up the way you want, you may find certain applications are better for certain times of the year and projects and so forth versus others. So just keep that in the back of your mind as you're starting to look at all these things. See, will this help improve my workflow in an efficient and effective manner? Or is this just going to bog me down and get me or my students frustrated? So just keep that in the back of your mind.
So I'm looking a little bit more about that Loom with the transcriptions. You can search for videos by what was mentioned. So it searches your transcriptions and you can find the videos. You can jump to the right spot by clicking on a word in the transcript.
Yeah.
And then you can watch with closed captions that you can drag around the video. That's
pretty
cool.
Powerful.
That is powerful.
Yeah. So definitely check out Loom. Another thing we want to talk about is Quizizz. Quizizz. We haven't done much with Quizizz in a while, but they have a new quiz editor. So there's multiple different types of questions available on the new quiz editor. Some are obviously only available with premium plans, but multiple choice is included if you're about using multiple choice, fill in the blanks.
I just used Quizizz 2 days ago. It was
there you go.
Great.
Yeah. So it's still, it's just a different format of Quizizz and Kahoot and all the other ones. So remember Plickers?
Plickers has upped its game.
Plickers
We
is
should
awesome.
talk about Plickers
Next week.
at some point.
Next week we'll talk about Plickers because that's that's a long conversation that we can definitely go into because they've improved.
They have.
As simple as that. But getting back to quizzes, there was our off the rails moment. Multiple choice, fill in the blanks, match are there.
It's almost like Quizizz has put in templates like Nearpod and Pear Deck into their quizzes.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're all trying to up their game, these ed tech companies, because they do listen to the educators and the users to make things better for all of us in our teaching environment. So, all right, we're not going to get to much more.
That's it.
I think we are going to have to wrap up the episode. I did want to talk real quick, Dan, about Sticker Mule. So we're big fans of stickers. Remember, use the sticker request. If you want a sticker, definitely use that. So Sticker Mule, this is just mind-blowing in the sense, right, and they're basically in northern New York, right? They're in the Amsterdam area, I believe.
I think so.
Big fan. You can get mule sauce, right? We talked about that, the sauce. But basically, Sticker Mule allows you can just upload any kind of sticker, and they have more than just stickers, but this is where they started, right? They have everything: floor graphics, mailers, labels, keychains, mule sauce, like I said. So basically, Sticker Mule now, you used to have to create your own sticker somewhere, but now they have Sticker Mule Studio, where it's a 100% free design tool that allows you to build a design in minutes and have it ready for print immediately. You don't have to, they have a proofing queue and everything for delivery, but you can then have them printed immediately. Now, if you don't follow them on Twitter, definitely follow them on Twitter. They always have all kinds of good deals. They're always have specials. So if you're big into your own sticker, right, and Bitmoji, whatever, and, just to support, encouragement for the students, you can get your own stickers to print. You can get an Adventures in Tech podcast sticker.
Do it. Fill out the request form.
That's it. So magnets, but the stickers, are great for your students, and this makes it easy. Just a good incentive, and they're really cool. They get back to you right away. And they're local, so you want to support the local companies in the New York area as well. At least for us, it's local. We know everybody's worldwide, but in New York, stickermule.com. So, other than that, Dan, final thoughts. Got it. Perfect. Once again, thank you for all your support.
Thank you, everyone.
Listening on all the platforms, leaving us those reviews, questions, comments, suggestions. Please reach out. Tech Card, work smart, live in adventure.
Find Andrew on all socials at @ANicolaTech and Dan at WCSD Tech DR.